You know that new thing you've been thinking about doing? The one that's just is so outlandish. I would never do that. Hey, here's the hype track you need to get you over the top, and just do it. When you think about the very best things that have happened to you in your life, personal and professional, the origins of those things, we like to take credit for them, but most of them happen completely due to luck. How I landed that great client, how I met like the perfect hire at the right time, how I found my wife. Down the road, when you look back on your life, when you are old and crusty, getting pushed out of the firm by a bunch of Zoomers, most of the very best things will have happened due to luck, but we don't acknowledge this. We plan, we set goals, we worry over the future. We've got our hands so tightly gripped on the steering wheel of destiny that you don't think about the steps you could take to enable luck. Leave the door open a crack for just a little bit of magic. The unexpected thing that could take you in an amazing direction you could have never imagined.
Leave the door open to magic.
Okay. It's a thing. And there are people in this world that are leaning into serendipity and those who are not. Now, the day Al Gore flipped the switch on the old internet, the calculation for where we invest our time and efforts changed because overnight, a door was opened to an unthinkably large number of people, opportunities, and problems for which you can be the solution. But most of us, we're just peering into that reality through a one-way mirror. We consume, we watch, we lurk, but the shields are up. I'm not gonna put myself out there. I don't have anything to say. What if somebody disagrees with me? Yeah. Or what if they don't?
What?
Every time you post online, you are playing a lottery that is rigged in your favor because that person who disagrees or agrees with you could be your next great client, could be your new best friend.
More like a 36-year-old nerd in his mom's basement.
Could be. But with each handle pull of that lottery, you are reaching into a really exciting unknown. Because I'll let you in on a secret, the people living out amazing opportunities, the sort of stuff you could never imagine being a part of, nobody expects those things to happen until they do. So of course this isn't you. It isn't anybody until it is. But until you put those shields down and adopt a better framework for leaning into opportunity, that timeline you're on, it's gonna be pretty blah. Now I get this all feels abstract and we wanna take control. And you aren't looking to win the lottery or do anything crazy, you're an accountant. But success, it is the marriage of hard work plus opportunity. And you can't work so hard that you don't leave any space for serendipity.
Okay, I am quite uncomfortable, but I got 5 left on my 15, so continue.
So, 4 easy, practical things you can do to better lean into opportunity. First, press publish. Just post that thing online. Post that comment, reply to that post, just engage because people are watching. You don't have to have anything novel to say, just turn up. The more consistently you engage, you'll find you're surrounded by a ton of other really like-minded people. Now, something like 1,000 people will watch this stupid video in the next week that have a whole lot more in common with you than the people you're gonna bump into at Trader Joe's. So drop a comment, reply, meet somebody.
He thinks I go to Trader Joe's.
Internet think boy Jack Butcher says posting online is making noise and listening for signal. Think of each online engagement as a lighthouse or one of those like bug lights that attracts like-minded bugs to your light. You get the idea. But virtually every problem you face can be solved, streamlined, optimized by a fellow human. Client acquisition, hiring talent, figuring out hard things. The more you have these conversations and aren't camped out behind that one-way mirror, the greater likelihood you'll make a connection that will change your life. Now, 2, go to conferences. It's not about the continuing education, okay? It's not about sitting there and being talked at. It's about being in a room full of people who do what you do and are making time to invest in themselves. That is important. Making adult friends is hard. Making adult friends who will follow through on their commitments, even harder. Making adult friends who are investing in themselves to a level that you aspire to do as well? Oh my geesh. Go to a conference, look to your left, look to your right. These people are gold. That is why you go to conferences. Now, they're gonna be super awkward, just like you are, and greasing the social skids will probably end up being your bottleneck. But walking into a conference full of people like this, whether it's like an accounting profession conference or an industry niche you wanna go into, It's probably the highest opportunity space you will ever find. Now, oftentimes when you're sniffing around that new thing, you'll stumble into a community of people doing the same. Ad time, roll that music. Okay, ever thought about doing advisory? Of course you have. Getting out from under the crushing weight of loveless transactional work? Worried about AI coming and stealing your lucky charms? The solution? Becoming a better advisor, duh. We're talking about the CFO Project, a membership community of accountants doubling down on CFO work, on advisory, on the most valuable aspect of our client relationships. If this is something you've ever thought about doing, it is a great example of how finding the right people will shave years off of your learning process. Because I will tell you, in my opinion, if there's something new I'm exploring, until I've seen what's like in the pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, I don't know if it's a thing I actually want to do or not. So how do I shortcut that learning process, get there as fast as possible? Now, most of us, fractional CFO sounds cool, right? Like, yeah, we kind of sort of do that for a few clients when we have time, right? The CFO Project, it is a high dive cannonball straight into the deep end of how to do it right. Because once you're willing to make that commitment, it is wise to get the support of people who have done it before. Now, if this is you right now, check out thecfoproject.com to learn more. 2 more ways you need to be leaning into opportunity. This is a fun one. Make friends. Be the weirdo willing to send vulnerable, cold DMs. Hey, I liked what you posted about that. Thanks for sharing your experience. What sort of hair product you using, bro? The best thing I ever did was make a few killer friends who run accounting firms. It took me from feeling mega isolated on an island to feeling understood and having a sounding board for my stupid questions. It is the reason that I do what I do now, because I don't want people to feel isolated like I once did. And at the end of the day, your bottleneck to opportunity will be your own willingness to embrace discomfort, to start that conversation. And if you approach life with this hunger for meeting new people, making friends, being helpful, no strings attached, no quid pro quo. If you can maintain that mindset, you're gonna outpace your peers at an unbelievable rate, because ultimately our success and those new opportunities you couldn't have ever imagined having will be enabled by your fellow human beings. Last, develop visible skills. We invest in technical stuff, the stuff that might apply to a client or two. When every day we write, we convince people of things, we try to build relationships, but we don't invest in those soft skills in the same way that we invest in the technical stuff. Now, interestingly, the people that we look up to in our profession, even the ones lauded for their technical abilities, the only reason you know they exist is because they're a great speaker or a great writer or they're persuasive. The most prolific people in technical fields are generally prolific because they developed an adjacent skill to amplify that technical ability. And those people's lives are insanely optimized for opportunity, unlike yours, Kevin.
The prophecy is true.
You are so fixated on ROI, trading this effort for that outcome, that every moment of your life is plotted out on this hypothetical map as if the world isn't any bigger than what you could have imagined it to be. As if you've got the entire internet, every potential client, every new role or opportunity in the palm of your hand, and ultimately it's you putting all those pieces together in complete control. That's not how all this works, bud, and it never will be. Whether you like it or not, success and happiness will be greatly impacted by the fellow humans you connect with in your life. And digging a bunker only to emerge when you've got continuing education requirements, that's not living a life optimized for opportunity. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna split that brain in half. One half plans, it rationalizes. It works out whether you'll make more money taking that lunch meeting or doing another hour of client work. But the other half? Oh buddy, the other half is trust falling right into the unknown. It's acknowledging that the world is bigger than you can ever comprehend. And as uncomfortable as it is, you're gonna lean into its bigness for the first time. You're gonna put yourself out there, big boy. Because on the other side of that post, that video, that tweet, that awkward introduction could be a life that you today could not imagine living. Now, I get that it's scary. I know it isn't you, it isn't anybody. I know that your timesheet still has to be in by 5 and that your sister's gonna think it's weird when you make that post. But listen, here's the thing. It's not about anybody else. It's about you and how putting yourself out there will enable opportunity.
Hey, honey, this is gonna sound weird. Can you go like a post I just made on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Yeah, $1.85. I know, right?